You're listening to a Brooklyn Nets episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Nets fans! Welcome to another Brooklyn Nets episode of the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk. And it doesn't matter what you throw the Nets' way. James Harden seems like he's getting ready to come back. Then he's out indefinitely. Bruce Brown, big part of what the Nets do, only plays 10 minutes yesterday against a really, really good Suns team. Nicholas Claxton is on the COVID-19 list. It doesn't matter. The Nets just keep finding ways to win. It didn't hurt that Kevin Durant came back, and off the bench he scored 33 points. Kyrie Irving had a double-double, 34 points and 12 assists. But whatever you throw at this Nets team, it just seems like they're gonna find a way to win. Even when it was just Kyrie Irving, you had other guys stepping up. Their win against the Celtics, Joe Harris was fantastic. So was Jeff Green. So was Blake Griffin. DeAndre Jordan looked really good. Having stars helps, there's no question, but this supporting cast is more than capable of getting the job done. At the end of the day, 1, 2, or 3 guys can't win games by themselves. I don't care how good they are. They need help. They're getting it. And the Nets could be getting more help because a few days ago, Spencer Dinwiddie said that it's possible that he could come back and play in the playoffs. If Spencer Dinwiddie can seriously come back, I don't care that he hasn't played all season. The Nets became even more title threats than they already were. If you have Spencer Dinwiddie as the backup point guard, you're unstoppable. What the Nets like to do is have a guy like Kyrie Irving or James Harden on the floor with 4 bench players. What that means is Harden or Irving have to do all the work. And the Nets suffer because of that. Sometimes they pass it too much. Other times they try to force their own shot too much. It's weird. It's very weird. But that's been an issue. With Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench and leading that offense, it's perfect. Think about this 5-man for a minute. Dinwiddie, Brown, TLC, Blake Griffin, and Nick Claxton. Spencer Dinwiddie would fit in perfectly there. I understand that Dinwiddie only played in 3 games before he tore his ACL. But in those 3 games, he looked very uncomfortable playing with Durant and Kyrie. It did not look like a good fit. He was in the starting lineup with those guys. It was tough to watch. You put Dinwiddie on the bench. You let him be the guy that the bench runs through offensively. Fantastic. Let's do it. I guarantee you that works. If Spencer Dinwiddie can really come back, I don't care if he's limited by the injury. He'll do really good things for the Nets. Now, I will say this. Unless, and God forbid, okay, knock on wood, I don't want this to happen. Unless Kyrie Irving and James Harden are out, Spencer Dinwiddie needs to come off the bench. Not or, and. That's important. Again, Dinwiddie looked really bad playing with Kyrie and Durant. I don't know why. It could be that Dinwiddie just was upset that he wasn't a main piece of the offense anymore, but it just wasn't working. You can have Dinwiddie with Durant, you can have Dinwiddie with Harden, you can have Dinwiddie with Irving. That's fine. But once you add another one of the big 3 to the mix, it's not going to work. That means that Spencer Dinwiddie isn't going to play in crunch time. And that's okay. You have James Harden and Kyrie Irving. What are you going to do? Put Dinwiddie at the 3? That's not going to work. Hello, Joe Harris. Dinwiddie would do a lot for the Nets as a bench scorer. He'd be a spark plug. He'd be a guy who would only play 15 minutes a game, put up some nice numbers, but he would be limited a little bit. A lot of Nets fans want Dinwiddie back. I get it. I don't begrudge Nets fans for wanting him back. I'm just not sure how realistic it is. I don't think Dinwiddie would sign up for being a 6th man, regardless of the contract. I think he wants to start. I think he wants to play 30 to 35 minutes a game. I think he wants to be one of the best players on his team. If Spencer Dinwiddie were to come back, I don't even think he's one of the 5 best players on the Nets. Durant, Harden, Irving, Joe Harris, Jeff Green, Landry Shamet, Bruce Brown. You can make an argument for those 3 guys. I don't see Dinwiddie being a Net long term, but if he can come back, it just makes the Nets that much scarier. The chemistry concerns are real. The rust factor, I'm not sure how much I buy into that. You thought there'd be a little bit of rust with a guy like Durant or Kyrie. That didn't happen. I don't think James Harden's going to be rusty. Blake Griffin wasn't rusty. The chemistry end of things, I don't think the Nets care about. I think it could be an issue, a little bit. But I don't think it's going to mean that the Nets are going to lose. I just don't see it. I truly think that the Brooklyn Nets are winning the NBA title. And let me say this, you've got to commend the Nets' for lack of a better term, conditioning crew for getting these guys ready to play. Durant has missed a ton of games. He comes back and scores 33. Blake Griffin's really good. Kyrie Irving has missed some games. You wouldn't know it from how he's played. It's going to be the same thing for James Harden. I know that's something that the Nets are very proud of. It's something that they preach a lot, ramping these guys up properly. Even a guy like Tyler Johnson, his first game back, he scored 8 points in 15 minutes. Mike James has looked solid. I wish I could thank people in particular. I wish I knew their names. But whoever's involved in the injury recovery, getting these guys back into game shape, and making it so they can fit into the Nets system, I tip my cap to you. New York Islanders show comes your way next week. New York Yankees show comes your way the week after. Brooklyn Nets show comes your way the week after that. I'm going to put a bow on the 2020-2021 regular season. Get you ready for the playoffs. It's going to be really fun. Until next time, I am Jacob Valk saying that Rich Dower was so slow that you had to time him from home to first with a calendar.